Hello, Paul James here. Just reporting on day 10 of this hunger strike that has been reduced to liquid fasting. And so the good news is that I feel much better. I'm not sure how I look, but I do feel better, even though it's on less than 1,000 calories a day, and I feel my stomach is easing off. I'm looking forward to meeting the Canadian Soccer Association on Monday. So for the rest of the message, this is a dear President Shoukri, President of York University. You'll recall Dr. Shoukri that in the fall, November the 22nd, 2013, I sent you a report 8 months after the discrimination claim that I filed against your institution was egregiously and unfairly dismissed by the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. I sent you a report, and I'm going to read you the opening page. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is just putting its shoes on. Mark Twain. In the late fall of 2003, I was hired by York University as a full-time master soccer coach. My remit as the coach back in 2003 was to develop a poor, morale-bound soccer program into a nationally recognized, credible, successful collegiate soccer entity. During the first 6 weeks as a master coach, I assessed, observed and researched all aspects of the York program, including the overall history and present status. As a result of this observational assessment, a 40-page report was produced and presented to Sport York's Pat Murray, Sheila Forshaw and Ken Shildroth. The highlights of the document included, but were not limited to, a soccer excellence account, $10,000 in arrears, an inefficiently run soccer fundraising tournament with profits less than $1,000, an unpaid bar tab from the men's soccer team account in excess of $500 accrued the night before an OUA game in Nipissing, a 15-year history of the women's soccer program with no tangible success at any level. The men's soccer program, not only devoid of success for the previous decade, but also a garnered reputation amongst competing teams for being undisciplined, arrogant and disrespectful. Fast forward 6 years to 2009, and the York soccer program had achieved 6 divisional titles, 4 OUA championships, 3 on the women's side, a national championship, 2 National Coach of the Year awards, 2 National Player of the Year awards, 2 National Rookie of the Year awards, numerous CIS All-Canadians, copious individual OUA honours, regular status of having one of the best disciplinary records in the OUA and CIS, a complete reversal of the previous decade, a positive, excellent fundraising account in the black by $8,000, the development of the largest high school tournament in the province generating over $10,000 a year, a national reputation for having one of the best run programs in the country. Both teams were ranked number 1 in 2007 and 2008 at varying times, and in 2007 the women's team, which I personally coached, recorded a record of 18-2, which stands as one of the best records of all time. And I should say, on the women's side, 3 OUA championships in 5 years. Since that time, the team haven't won a championship, OUA championship since. And it's not out of arrogance that I say that. It's out of the following decision that your university made, is that I didn't even receive a thank you note once I left the institution based on discrimination. The following report, as I have here, which is submitted to the courts, President Shoukri, you will remember that at the end I use a quote from the current chair from Queen's University of Bell Canada's courageous campaign, in my opinion, but Let's Talk anti-stigma campaign. And she quotes, after reading the information, that Paul, you have every right to be very angry at your circumstance and the way that you were treated. My question to you, President Shoukri, is how do you justify, and out of all the there's lots of information, but I just want to know, how do you justify that your athletic director and you as an institution, when faced with a discrimination claim from me, that you decided to hire the #1 most ruthless law firm in the country to basically attack Paul James, who gave so much to your program, who would have been suffering in clear distress, which your institution know, and you had the evidence in your employee wellness office, plus observational evidence. Like, even at the divisional court, when the Justice Edwards dismissed the claim and said that eventually Mr. James fell victim to the vicious grip of addiction, Now, what does the vicious grip to addiction look like? Because how do you justify that you guys made that decision, first of all, to rather than resolve this in private, which we offered you, that you decided to take the case on? And then how'd you lie? How could Jen Myers say that she didn't know that I had a medical health issue, that she thought it was just personal issues and personal matters? How would you justify that? And then how do you explain, as the process goes on, through the divisional court to the Court of Appeal, the conflict of interests, the egregious lack of integrity with what the code of conduct for judges and justice should be, let's say epitomized at the Court of Appeal. So after the divisional court, which was bad enough, it got dismissed based on stereotyping, based on deceit, based on an egregious ruling on the merits of the case when it wasn't before the court, where the Justice Edwards suggests that I left York University because of the negative medical consequences as a result of the addiction, where he forgot to use the comma because of the lack of support and the discrimination and harassment that I faced. If that wasn't bad enough, within a day, the National Post writes their article suggesting the very same thing, and that I didn't prove discrimination when I did. And then how do you justify this at the Court of Appeal of Ontario when I requested no costs, the respondent counsel requested no costs, there was incredible evidence, overwhelming evidence that injustice had taken place. The Court of Appeal do not overrule it and do the right thing. But not only did they dismiss that behind closed doors, but they awarded costs to you as the respondent of $1,000 that I had to pay. And that on top of when in my submissions I put that I am a street person in the making, and my credit card had been cancelled and that I had debt, a six-figure debt. How does the system justify that? How do you as the president, when we start to go through and it got worse and worse and worse as we go to the Supreme Court, your institution is also responsible for the pressure that I would say that was put on the Chief Justice, Beverly McLaughlin, who was a wonderful career, was about to retire in 2018, yet she got my file and it was dismissed, as I talked about yesterday. And all because of an athletic director didn't know what to do and didn't know how to handle my situation back in the fall of 2008 and 2009. And so the easy way to do that was to remove the problem, not to address it, not to have some nous about how to deal with it, not to validate that I was wanted and that I could have stayed and should have stayed. And then the cover-up begins. I think that that it's going to be overwhelming. My decision moving forward is to begin to release evidence, starting with the affidavit, 78-page affidavit, which is the last thing sent to the Supreme Court, which, by the way, got returned, along with the arguments, which I think the public need to know, as it encapsulates the whole process. And from there forward, I will release more and more information, which I don't want to do because I don't want to embarrass my assistant coaches. I don't want to embarrass anybody, which is the program from the beginning. I'm going to finish off, Dr. Shoukri, because as much as I've encountered so much rage and so much anger at this process, I'm giving you the opportunity to now, in front of where other people are watching this, to give you the opportunity to do the right thing, just like I did with the CSA, and to turn this into a positive and correct what needs to be corrected in any way that you deem to present to me, you deem that it's warranted to present to me. And if not, then I'm going to continue to release the information, and again, I will not stop with this hunger strike until something is done. I present that to you on behalf of all Canadians that suffer and have gone through the indignity of a substance use disorder and the brutality of self-stigma and societal stigma.